that. And as far as going back to the whole student-athlete thing's a farce, to you, it is. To others, it may be. But when I see Jalen Petrie, I don't just sit there and say, oh, football player, linebacker. I say, dude who got degrees. I can say that about like all of the departing guys at Baylor. And I'll tell you what, right now, I think that that's going to probably come in handy one day for a lot of those guys. I think it's a farce that we just act like the academic side doesn't matter at all. I think that that's a really sad sign of kind of where we are, that the educational piece of this, even if you've heard the stories because you watched Blue Chips or you watched, the program or whatever, that college football is just nothing but football all the time. No, there is another side to it, a very, very large side to it, the campus life, the student life, being in those classes. Don't tell me the student athlete's a farce. It may be for some players who are there just to get a paycheck for NIL and play for 3 years to get to the league. But for the majority, the overwhelming majority of college athletes, that degree is important. That student part is important. That is what is going to pay their bills, not the sport. So people may treat it like a farce, but I think that's the sad part, is that you're treating the educational piece like a farce. Even if there are examples of it being that way, that is not the story for 95, if not higher than that, percentage of the student athletes that we're talking about, because it's not just football players we're talking about, even if that's the focus.
Right, couldn't agree more. Again, a week from tonight, we honor 20 student athletes, and one of the reasons we do is because that means a lot. To me, student athlete, you can say whatever you want, talk about pro sports in college, whatever. It to me means a lot. And in 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 years, it will mean a lot, if not even earlier. Some of those guys who try to go to the pros, don't make it, or get injured, they can then lean back on that degree.
And we've had multiple players from Baylor in these studios, volleyball, basketball, men's and women's, football, and we've had at least one person from every sport who probably could go and play a pro career, but they will tell you that it's that student life and it's the education part of it that is, for many of them, just as important. And so, yeah, there might be those guys who, again, are just out for the Heisman Trophy and to get to the league as quickly as possible, but that is not the majority of these people that we're talking about. It's not. And I just think we just toss education to the side like it's no big deal. Free $50,000 a year education. Oh, that's nothing. They get nothing. Really? That education is nothing? I just could not disagree more with that. If you want to take it for granted, that's fine. I think that's a dumb decision. And I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about any athlete that just wants to take that free education for granted. But I think that's something that you probably, unless you strike it big, you're the 1 in 1,000 people who does make it to the NFL and, makes millions and millions of dollars and never has to work a day in their life. That's the outlier. That's not the normal.
From Roger Dodger, trying